Hey, what's up everybody? Today is the day we are getting ready to install a Garmin Force trolling motor, taking the place of my old Minn Kota Fortrex, which has actually been a great unit, by the way. We're also going to be putting in a new lithium battery in the back. I went with a 36 volt ionic lithium, and then we're also going to be putting in some Livescope LVS-34 system in that rod locker over there. Stay tuned. I hope you get some good info out of it. Real quick before we get started, I want to take a minute and tell you to be sure to check out our new partner for 2024, and that is the GPSstore.com. Based out of North Carolina, the GPSstore.com has been around for 25 years, and whether you're looking for the latest fish finder, trolling motor, or other GPS-based product, they simply have some of the best prices anywhere you can find. Throw in free 2-day shipping on thousands of items, and there isn't a better place to purchase marine electronics. I'll leave a link in the video description so you can check them out, as it's a great way to support the channel and get a great deal on a new piece of gear. The GPSstore.com. Freedom to explore, discount prices, exceptional service. All right, so I thought I'd go over some things that I got done before my friend Manny gets here. He's the expert at installing trolling motors and whatnot, at really doing anything marine. But I thought I'd get some stuff taken care of beforehand just to make the day go a little smoother. I went ahead and put in a ionic lithium 50 amp hour 36 volt battery. That's going to be my trolling motor battery. Or I replaced two 12 volt batteries that were in there, two 27Ms XHD, and probably ended up getting rid of about 60 pounds from the back. Those two batteries weighed about 60 pounds more than this battery. It would have been more, but I'm only replacing, keep in mind I'm going from 24 volts to 36 volts, so I replaced two batteries with one. I kept my cranking battery the same because it's basically brand new, so we're going to leave that in there for now. Plus it's working great. I've also got a charger on the way from Ionic that will allow me to charge all those batteries and be able to help me, or I can download an app on my phone and be able to monitor the progress of those, and I'll show you that more when it comes up. All right, so this is just some work in progress video here. I am trying to get the networking done for the most part before Manny gets here tomorrow, so I can have him concentrate more on removing the Fortrex and installing the Force. So the network, the GMS-10 box, only comes with one short network cable. It's about 6 feet. So in order to figure out how to get everything to that, which is what my goal is, and I'm gonna have to end up putting it probably on that back wall there, I had to use that 6-foot cable and feed it down here to go to my 106, because it's the closest one. The only one where a 6-foot cable would have worked, because I couldn't put it, all the way up here with just a 6-foot cable. So the goal is to put it back there, 6-foot cable with the 106. The Livescope will go along this wall here because it has a plenty long enough cable. It'll also go into the GMS-10. And then I have my 93 and 73 up here already run back here, and I just have them labeled with some packing tape because I couldn't find any good labels. I did have to take off this console here just to be able to get that network wire fed through, up into this region here. So I'm about to put all that back on and then hook those up and just make sure I'm not missing anything. So all right, so now my buddy Manny's here, and he got straight to work on removing the old trolling motor. Here he's just removing the old foot pedal, and I told him when he was doing this all would have taken me probably 4 hours, and I think he had this thing off of there in probably 30 minutes, if not less than that. Here we have a panel that I have just underneath my fish finders that we're having to remove just to get to the wiring, and so he's taking care of that right now. And here we're taking off the sides of the old trolling motor off the old Fortrex. This just makes it easier to get to all the bolts and everything in order to get that removed. And here we're just removing it from the actual boat itself. reaching up underneath this console here just so we can grab the nuts there, and then go ahead and loosening all those bolts and taking it off. And here we are opening up the new Garmin Force trolling motor box. And she is a beaut. This thing is such a beast, by the way. I mean, it is just rock solid. And so the first thing we're going to do is just make sure that it fits on here, see if everything lines up, see if any of these holes line up whatsoever. And we'll do the same thing with the foot pedal, just make sure it lines up and make sure it's actually going to fit in the current recess, which it does fit like a glove. And the foot pedal is also just solid. Here's just the remnants of the old one and the piece of the Force that's going to go on as well. Lots of cardboard left over. Here's where we're having to fill the holes for the old trolling motor. They don't actually line up at all, and so that's what we're doing here. For some reason, you know, we figured Garmin would know what they're replacing in terms of at least have some idea what trolling motors they're replacing, and maybe one or two holes would line up, but it just wasn't the case. So actually none of those holes lined up. So we're going to end up filling those holes. And we're going to use black life seal basically to fill it up. And that's what Manny's doing here, is just putting in that black life seal. And that way no water will get in, and it's you know, good and watertight. And here we're just drilling out some holes for the new, he's, you know, marking the holes for the new Force. And now drilling those holes down in there. Can't be afraid to drill into your fiberglass. It's going to have to happen. Just be careful. Make sure you mark the holes right and that you're actually doing it the right way. Be sure to put the strap on underneath if you're going to use the strap, which I do recommend. Make sure you put it on before you bolt the trolling motor down. Pretty common mistake. And here we're just putting basically the trolling motor meat onto the arm. And I did ask if he needed help instead of me just recording stuff, but he said he's got it. Alright, now we're just throwing that Livescope on. I'll talk about the wiring and the routing of that here in a little bit. As you can see here, that collar does not fit through this channel that Garmin has, which I kind of thought was strange. Like, why would you make a trolling motor that the Livescope channel doesn't fit through? But we'll more on that in a little bit. Here Manny's just routing the wires down through and making sure that there's clearance as we spin the trolling motor head around. You can see we did use a zip tie there. I did end up taking those off later after reading that you're not supposed to use zip ties, so just keep that in mind. I did use black electrical tape in the final install version. Here we're just having to cut out a bigger hole just for all the wiring to go through beside that console. So awesome, clean job there. And then we're also going to have to make a little bit more space in the console area itself. I'm calling it a console. I guess it's more of a console cover that came with the boat. And that thing's about had it. I don't think it'll do one more install. And here we're just wiring up the new trolling motor to the old trolling motor terminal that's being left on the boat. So the new trolling motor, the new Garmin Force, requires a 60 amp breaker. I currently had a 50 amp from the old trolling motor, so I'm going to be taking this one off. I ordered a 60 amp one on Amazon. I'll leave the link down below so you can see that. But I'm going to put that on at the same time that I put in the ionic charger, which will go right over there. Here we're just putting in the rest of the Livescope system, securing it to that bulkhead there. Bulkhead means wall, for those of you that were not in the Navy. And here we're just screwing down the foot pedal, and we're just about done. I tell you, this install went great. Manny is great to work with, and he did an awesome job putting this thing in. All right, so this is something I saw on Todd Castledines YouTube channel, so I'll give them credit for it. But this is the Livescope end, and what I did was I cut off this thing. They recommend doing that. That way it'll actually go down this channel now. Just like that. And then just over here, because the package comes with 2 extra ones actually. So we're gonna put it back on once I run it through that channel. And there we go, we got the other collar in place now. Just took it out of that wrapper, snapped it on there, and that should plug right into the Livescope. Well guys, the Garmin Force is installed. Super happy, super excited to get out on the water and test this guy out. Got to wait for the weather to get a little bit better. I am going to cut this thing down, the support bracket, to about right there, and then tighten it down. That's about the only thing I have left to do. And then put my graphs back in place, but that's about it. Livescope is installed. And I got to put that plate back on. Whoop. Going into the rod locker, which I got to clean up still a little bit. But everything came out all right. And I tested everything out. Everything's working now. I got Panoptix icons on both of these and on the one on the console. So everything is looking good so far. Next will be just be an on-the-water test to see how everything works. Hey, this is my buddy Manny who helped me install the trolling motor, or I should say he installed the trolling motor and I watched. So he's going to tell you a little bit about where you can find him.
Hey guys, I'm Manny with Marine Service Experts here in the county of Brevard, Florida. Mostly stay in Brevard, but do some Flagler and Indian River counties as well. So yeah, just reach out. Phone number is 321-417-6521. You can also find me on Facebook under MSE_Brevard.
Well guys, that does it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out the GPSstore.com for more great deals on electronics, including this Garmin Force. I'll leave a link down below. Thanks again for being here. This is Rob, Instinct Bassin. Trust your gut, and I'll see you on the water.